Before I devote my life to teaching, I have to ask, what's the likelihood my job will be replaced by a robot? This question was asked to me by a freshman undergraduate student who had just decided she wanted to be a teacher. And she was very sincere. The question caught me a little off guard. I initially thought, absolutely not. Look at this image. There's no possible way a robot could do what teachers do. That's actually how I responded to her. It was my initial gut reaction and the one that I wanted to be true. But the more I thought about it, the more I wondered about what I had said. With the rise of online learning systems like Khan Academy, even social robot teachers, human teachers appear to be becoming obsolete, right? Throughout the rest of our tech talk, my role will be to highlight on the surface why technology appears to be an acceptable substitution for human teachers.
Alternatively, my role will be to provide a more thorough examination of the consequences of these so-called robo-teachers.
When considering the trade-offs of technology, many are so focused on the positive aspects, technologies are often adopted quickly and without question. For example, in 2010, Khan Academy had only 144,000 users per month. Just 4 years later, that number became 10 million unique users per month. With this type of growth, imagine the possibilities. We could move education completely online. We could have all of our students in K-12 participating in online learning. Even further, we could have adult learners or those that maybe can't afford a college education using these services, because best of all, it's free.
But with all of your focus on the positive aspects, it's easy to overlook and underplan for those negative aspects of technology adoption. For example, a study published in the International Journal of Instructional Technology and Distance Learning found a disproportionately high percentage of students who engage online courses or fail to not complete that program at all when compared to those face-to-face courses. Another study with the use of Khan Academy in schools concluded, our learnings in this study make it clear the teacher's role is still central even in the wake of the adoption of these new technologies. Additionally, to move education completely online, these students must have access to a capable device as well as internet access at all times. Furthermore, we are learning more about the side effects of the increased screen time of our littlest people, those underneath the age of 2. They are having side effects that cause them to maybe not improve upon how well they're able to communicate with people. They lose out their sense of people's emotions, and they're not able to build a large vocabulary. All of these things are harmed. And for our children in schools, they face challenges with these social deficiencies and isolation, instead of bringing people together to learn not only from all-knowing device, but from one another.
Okay, those arguments might be valid and well supported, but remember that technology has no limits and can solve any problem. For example, engineers are attempting to capture and harness the beauty of social interaction and use these teaching robots with children. So far, these social robots have been used to teach songs, learn colors, even learn calligraphy. And in the business world, you can use social robots to plan your day, order you fast food, even watch over your home. Best of all, these social robots can read your emotions and interact with you accordingly. If engineers are successful in adapting social robots to K-12 classrooms, the potential benefits of robo-teachers could be limitless.
Sorry to break it to you, but in reality, technology is limited in its ability to solve problems, and it even creates new ones. Consider the lack of love a robot can provide a human, or the absence of the human touch that's able to be received from that robot. Even the lack of empathy that we might feel from a robot compared to a human must be considered. For example, when investigating the online learning dropouts from before, it's believed that they were unsuccessful due to the lack of interpersonal connection and the accountability from that human teacher. Additionally, given a problem of social, moral, ethical dilemma, technology will struggle to solve this issue. Consider the example of a moral dilemma, possibly not solvable by technology. This is the story of the Robin Hood robber. You witness a man rob a bank, but instead of keeping the money for himself, he donates it to a local orphanage. You know this orphanage has been struggling with funding, and with this money, it would allow for the children to be better taken care of in terms of food, water, clothing, medical care. If you report the crime, the money will be taken away from the orphanage and given back to the bank. What should you do? What would a robot do?
Okay, fine. Technologies may not be able to solve every problem, but that's because they're inanimate. Fortunately, that means inanimate things are unbiased and can't influence us. So it's entirely up to us to decide how and when to use technologies. This allows the users of online learning the freedom to set their own schedules and learn when they want. Additionally, by learning through technology, one can learn anything. Your learning isn't dependent on what a teacher tells you. From fractions to factoring, stoichiometry to atomic theory, the topics for learning are endless.
Wrong again. Technologies actually influence our behaviors because they favor certain goals and outcomes, and they cue the users how to use them. Remember those games on Facebook like Farmington, or even farther back, those nano pets? These games required the user to log on at certain times and do those farm chores or feed the pet. In these instances, the user is no longer in control of deciding when to use the technology. Consider Khan Academy again. While the video lessons are helpful, what exactly are they helpful for? These videos favor skill development, rote memorization, and content only accessible through quick and easy answers. The videos have a limited ability to help students develop a deep and robust understanding of whatever concepts they're getting at. We must recognize these cues being enforced on the consumers of all the video lessons. Who is deciding what knowledge to include in those lessons? How can a student decipher between what is accurate and what is inaccurate in the hundreds of thousands of videos being put out there? Even so, over time, these values of users' behaviors can become acceptable and adopted within society. Thus, we must bring the discussion to the interaction between society and technology.
Finally, something we can agree on. As Hallie said, when technology becomes available and adopted, it can influence society. That's great. If more people learn from online and non-human sources, they may be better prepared to compete in our increasingly online and digital world. Technology is influencing the way millennials and younger generations interact with each other and the world around them. It is about time our educational system caught up with these increasingly digital demands. In short, learning from technology will change our society for the better.
For the better? In reality, this interaction is a two-way street. Technology influences society, but the needs of society must also dictate how technology is used and adopted. The needs of society might include citizens who are critical thinkers and creative, or the emotional intelligence and human interaction or touch as key factors of relationships. Or furthermore, the deep conceptual understanding of content areas ranging from language to theoretical physics, mathematics, to the history of the Eastern world. These needs struggle to be met by placing the means of education in the cold and rigid hands of these devices.
Okay, so Hallie and I have been misleading you a bit with this debate. We're actually on the same side, surprise. And we believe that much is lost when we replace teachers with technologies. In summary.
So first, one thing that is lost is the access to education for all. Technology seems to make education more accessible for all, but only if the students have access to these devices as well as the internet. This creates an increasingly digital divide.
Second, creativity. Lessons online are more formulaic in nature and provide less opportunities for teachers to respond to students' questions and interactions. The genuine creativity of students is stunted by these pre-planned and highly structured online lessons.
Third, critical thinking. Employing crucial conversations that are explicit and reflective in nature between students and teachers is more difficult in these online settings. Without receiving immediate feedback that a regular conversation would provide, students are more likely to stay in tune, and they will only remain at a surface level of this content.
Fourth, ethical and moral decisions. A robot would not be able to model appropriate ethical and moral decision-making for students. And when faced with an actual social, moral, or ethical dilemma, such as an active shooter situation, how would a robot respond to ensure our students are safe?
And finally, social and human interaction. The lack of interpersonal connection and accountability experienced in online settings is believed to lead to the disproportionately high numbers of students failing in these online settings. They may not even complete their online programs at all. The same failure rate is not experienced in these face-to-face settings where students develop relationships with their human teachers. Beyond online learning, when thinking about traditional classrooms with robot teachers, these students may struggle to become emotionally attached to their robot teacher in order to commit to or feel safe in that learning environment. Thus, building a relationship is necessary for deep learning to happen. One expert has said, people are social animals. They like to learn in groups, and they like to learn from people. Robots can't replace these teachers because they can't inspire us.
In conclusion, we would like to leave you with an excerpt from Plato's Phaedrus. In Egyptian mythology, King Thamus was the king of the gods, and he once entertained a god and inventor of many things: geometry, calculation, astronomy. And the king met with the inventor god and decided which technologies should be made available to the people. When the inventor god suggested writing should be adopted in society, he proclaimed the invention would improve both the memory and the wisdom of all who used it. The king strongly disagreed, and we believe his arguments apply when considering replacing teachers with technology. Of writing, King Thamus said, "As for wisdom, your pupils will have a reputation for it without the reality. They will receive a quantity of information without proper instruction, and in consequence be thought very knowledgeable when they are in fact quite ignorant. And because they are filled with the conceit of wisdom, instead of real wisdom, they will be a burden to society."
So let us learn a lesson from the parable of King Thamus. On the surface, while technology may appear to be an acceptable substitution for human teachers, upon closer examination through the philosophy and nature of technology, much is lost in doing so. Thank you.